Hello, Mavericks. This is Mrs. Hampton. I am super excited to be with you today. Today, we are going to be adding and subtracting by tens, and we're also going to be doing some counting to kind of help us warm up our brain and get our brains thinking flexibly about that addition and subtraction of tens within three-digit numbers. So if you are following along in your workbook today, you guys are going to be on page 265 and 266. If you are working in your homework and remembering page, you're going to have similar activities, and you're working on page 163. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. All right, so our learning target today is that I can count by ones and tens, add and subtract 10 from a number, and read and write number names for three-digit numbers. It's a long target, but there's lots that we're doing today. So on to 1, 2, I can count by ones and tens, add and subtract 10 from a number, and read and write number names for three-digit numbers. Pew! All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're just going to count by ones and tens over 100. We are going to go to Moby today, and he's going to get our brains warmed up for adding and subtracting within tens.
Cool stickers, Moby. How many do you have? Well, each sheet has 10 stickers. So you can skip count by 10 to find the total. How can you add tens? Let's see. You've got 10, 20, 30 insect stickers. And you have 10, 20 flower stickers. How many do you have all together? Write a number sentence to help you find the sum. What is 30 plus 20? You can use a 100 chart to help you add. Start at 30 and add on 2 tens. 40, 50. 30 plus 20 is equal to 50. When you're working with tens, you can hide the zeros in the ones place to make it easier to add. Then you can bring back the zeros after you add the tens column. What is 40 plus 40? I know that 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. That's a doubles fact and easy to remember. So 40 plus 40 is equal to 80. These are cool stickers, Moby. May I please have some? How can you subtract tens? You have 80 fruit stickers. And you give me 20. What is 80 minus 20? You can start at 80 and go back 2 tens. 70, 60. 80 minus 20 is equal to 60. What is 50 minus 40? Hide the zeros to help you solve. I know 5 minus 4 is equal to 1. So 50 minus 40 is equal to 10. You can use what you know about adding and subtracting tens to help you solve other number sentences. How can you add one more or one less than 10? You have 40 yellow stickers and 11 red stickers. How many do you have together? What is 40 plus 11? Well, I know that 40 plus 10 is equal to 50, but we're adding 11, which is one more than 10. So add one more to the sum to solve. 40 plus 11 is equal to 51. What is 30 plus 61? I know that 30 plus 60 is equal to 90, but we're adding one more than 60. So 30 plus 61 is equal to 91. Here you have 50 blue stickers and 9 red stickers. How many do you have together? What is 50 plus 9? I know that 50 plus 10 is equal to 6.
All right, we're going to go ahead and just continue along anyway. So when we're going today, what I want us to do is we're going to be counting first by ones and tens. So that's the first activity that we're going to do. So on this, I have it pulled up here on the screen so that we can do some of this together. Just as a reminder, right, when we're counting by ones, we're still using our hands. We'll practice those hand signals so that we can be very cognizant of when our hundreds numbers change. All right. So it's going to, maybe I'll do those with you. So you can see, so we have 396. You can start off with 300, 2, 300, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Now we are going to count up to 405. 397, 398, 399, 400, 401, 402, 403, 404, 405. Great job, Mavericks. So we're going to do the same thing with 197. So we're just going to start this time at 197, 198, 199, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206. Freeze. All right, and the last one, we're going to start at 895, 896, 897, 898, 899, 900, new 100, 901, 902, 903, 904, 9, freeze. All right, so that's a great job. So that's just counting by ones, kind of getting our brains aware of that time when you get to the top of a number and you need to go to that next 100 block. Okay, the next one we're going to do is we're going to be counting by tens, and this is the same kind of activities that you're going to be doing in your homework sheets. Okay, so on this one, right, with the decade numbers, we're doing the same movement, but instead of like with your ones, I'm going to move me so you can still see what I want you to do. There we go. So we're going to start at 430. We are counting by tens up to 520. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. If you want to start the first one, you can go 400, 200, 300, 400, 10, 20, 30. Okay, here we go. So at 430, 440, 450, 460, 470, 480, 490, 500, 510, 520. Freeze. All right, so we're going to do the exact same thing. This time we're going to start at 870 and we're going to go up to 960. Ready? 870, 880, 890, 900, 910, 920, 930, 940, 950, 960. Freeze, Mavs. That is awesome. So that that is just counting by those decade numbers, right? Those decade numbers are tens that end in 0. We're going to do our last one here, 550, 560, 570, 580, 590, 600, 610, 620, 630, 640. All right, Madison, so I have this drawing for you down here, right? So you can see as you're counting up by tens. Here's this drawing that we have. We have 10, 100, 200, 300, 400, 30, right? Same thing that we did up here. And we just added those hundreds, right? And once you box that number with your fingers, right? That was when you got to that 500 and we had 2 10 sticks left over. Okay, so that's just that drawing to help support you. When you're doing your math workbook today, that's a big part of the assignment. Okay, it might feel kind of easy, it might feel tricky. Again, those drawings, like what I just showed you, can be super helpful. So you guys are going to be on page 265, right down here. Okay, and if you want to make your numbers, if you want to draw it out on your 10 sticks, your boxes, your 10 sticks and your ones, that can be a really helpful tool. If you feel like you can do it just on your own by writing it out, that is awesome too. Whatever feels good for you, but just know that you have a lot of ways and resources to accomplish this task. Okay, all right, Mavs. The next thing we know, we kind of got cut off there a little bit, right, from our brain pop. But today we're going to talk a little bit about adding and subtracting tens. Okay, and we really want to be looking at this and being able to kind of mentally solve some of these problems, especially when you're looking at those decade numbers. Okay, so when you look right here, you have this number 750, and all we're going to do is add 10. So we know that we're not going to do anything to the hundreds, the number in the 100 spots, and we're not going to do anything to the number in the 10 spots. So all we're changing is that 50, that number in the tens place. So we can mentally add the sum, right? You can say 50 plus 10 or 5 plus 1 is 6. So if you're going to add 10 to 750, you're going to end up with 760. Okay, go ahead and try this one on your own. You have 628. You're only changing the number in the tens place, which is the 2, and you're adding 1 to that 2. Right, so you're adding 10 to 20. So go ahead and add that together. Okay, how did you find that? How did you find that sum just now when you found, when you added 10 to 628? Okay, so yes, you should have gotten 638 on this one. Okay, how about this one right here? 586. Again, we're just adding 10 to this number. So it's going to be 500. You're just changing this number. You're adding this 1 to the 8. Okay, so 596 is what you should have. Okay, so for these, right, for these numbers that we just did, you're just adding a number, one number, to the number that's in the tens place. Okay, in a second here, I'm going to give you a different number. And this requires a little bit more thinking, but I'm going to give you a tool that you can use to help solve this using a mental math strategy. Okay, so the first one I want you to do, can't give it to you yet. Let me get it to you here. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you this number, and I'm going to say 792 plus 10. Now, team, how is this number different than the number that I just gave you, right? Or than the other 3 numbers that I asked you to do? Okay. It's different because in this case, we can't just add a number to the tens place, right? Because that would be 10, and that would totally change this number. Okay, so what is this tool or strategy that I can give you to help you solve these types of problems? Okay. Well, what we know is that 790, right, is actually 79 tens, right? So just these two numbers, kind of if you go back to the dollars and cents that we had, right? So that's 79 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 79 of those, okay? So you have 79 tens. Okay, if you have 79 tens, okay, but we still also have this number, okay? So this is 79 tens plus 2, okay? And we're adding how many tens? Plus 1 10. Okay, so in this case, before we do anything, let's just add 79 plus 1. Okay, that's going to give us 80 tens. Okay, now we still know that we have this 2 back here because it was 792. So all you have to do is remember to add that 2. 7 is 80 tens plus 2. Okay, so that's going to give you 802. Okay, super fun way, right? So let's do the same thing. We're going to do, let's practice this a little bit, okay? So when we look right here, again, I highly recommend and encourage you to do this along with me because it's great practice to see. So whatever it is that you're using and working on, this is kind of your only practice chance for this because it's not necessarily in your math workbook, but it's a great tool when you're adding and subtracting tens. Okay, math? All right, so the next problem we have is we're going to say we have 594. Okay, and we're going to add 10.
What are you doing, Mama?
I'm playing math. I'm doing math. Okay, so I have 594 and I have 10. Whoop, you can't see it.
Is someone talking to you?
No. Okay, so we know, yep. So we know that we can't just do it again. We're at that 90, so we can't just add 10 the way we couldn't mentally last time. Okay, but what we can do is we can say, you know what? 590 is the same thing as 59 tens. Okay, plus 4, right? So we have 59 tens plus
what?
4. Okay, and we're adding 110. Okay, so it's going to be plus that 110. Okay, so right here you can then add 59 tens plus 110 is 60 tens. 60 tens, which we know is 600. Okay, and then we just have to bring that 4 down. So it's 604. Kind of fun, right? It's a fun way to add and do math. So let's do another one. Let's look at 396. Okay, and we're going to add plus 10. Okay, in the same way, how many tens do we have? Well, we know that 390 is the same thing as 39 tens, so we're going to be adding 39 tens. Okay, we can't forget the 6, so we know we're going to have to be adding that back at some point. So 39 tens plus 6. Okay, and then we're going to add the 110 that we're adding, so plus 110. So we have 39 plus 1, so it's going to give us 40 tens plus this little dude. Okay, so our plus 6. Nope, not 4. Plus 6. Okay, you can't do that. Okay, so that's going to be 406. So it's just a fun way to think about adding. You can kind of separate the tens and the ones away from each other, so that you have the tools to do that mental math strategy. You're not just going 397, 398, 399. Of course you can do that, but this is a quick way to mentally do that in your brain. If you want one more practice, I'll give that to you, and then we're going to kind of move on and do the same thing with subtraction. Okay, so if you want to try 472 plus 10 again, of course. Okay, how many tens do you have? 47 tens. You have that extra 2 hanging out. Okay, and you're going to be adding 110. Okay, so you're going to look here and you're going to say 47 tens plus 1. 48 tens, 480. 2. Okay, super fun way to add and subtract by tens when you can't do it quickly and mentally, with just changing that one digit in the place value. Okay, all right, so guys, we're going to do that exact same thing, but we're going to explore this with some subtraction. Okay, so here we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to look, let's do the mental part first, kind of ignore what's at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to say 840, and we're going to be subtracting 10. Okay, of course, you just got to take 1 away from the 4, which is 3, which is mentally going to give you 830. Okay, go ahead and do the exact same thing with this number, 285. You're going to take 1 away from the 8, which is going to give you 275. Nice job, maths. And go ahead and do this last one in your head, 342. You're taking 1 away from this 4 in the tens place. What is that going to give you? Okay, yeah, that's going to give you 332 because you took 1 away from 4. Okay, now over here I have a new problem for you. Okay, we have 503 and we're going to take away 10. However, just like last time, we can't just take away 10, right? So you're going to think of it in the exact same way. Okay, this time, you're going to do, you have your same numbers. So we're going to pull up our 503. Okay, 503. You're taking away 10. So you have to think of it the same thing, right? 503 is how many tens? 50 tens. Plus 3. Right? And you're taking away 110. So you're in this time, so in this case, you're going to say minus 110. Okay, so 50, take away 1 is what? 49 tens. Okay, which is the same thing as 490. Okay, but you still have to add back that plus 3. So 493. How fun is that? Okay, so let's do the same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna again, I'm gonna write this one out. If you want to try this one on your own, you can pause me. Okay, anytime I write something down, you want to try it first. Okay, I try to kind of go a little quickly in the explanation because I know that some people might be ready for that, and then some people might want to pause it and practice and then push play to check their work. Okay, so do whatever works best for you. Okay, so on this one we have 206. Same thing, we're going to take away 10. Okay, we know that 206 is really just 20 tens. Okay, so 206 is 20 tenths, okay, plus 6, okay? Now, because we're subtracting, we're going to be minusing 110 from that 20 tens, okay, which is going to leave us. So now we have 20 and we're going to take away 1, which is 19 tenths plus that 6. Okay, go ahead and solve. What is that? What is that going to leave you? Yeah, Mavs, it's going to leave you with 196. Okay, let's do one more, and then we're going to get into word number names. Okay, so we're going to say 507. Okay, and when you can see, this is a great tool for when you're kind of close to those 100 numbers, right? When you can't just take away the 10 because you're so close to the 500, the 200, okay, whatever number that is. So you have 507. Of course, we know that 507 is 50 tenths plus 7. And we're going to be subtracting 110. Okay. So if you're going to take 1 away from 50, that's going to leave you with 49 tenths plus that 7. So 497. Just a fun little trick. Of course, if you like to count backwards using your fingers, that's always a tool. But it's just a fun way to think of to use those mental math strategies to add and subtract tens when you don't have a sheet of paper. And it's nice and quick and easy. All right. So the last thing that we're going to do is part of your exercises today is you want to become familiar with how to read numbers, how to write numbers, and really importantly, how to spell numbers. So if you're looking for maybe some additional kind of spelling practice, this is a great skill for you. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to look at these numbers, okay? And as you're looking at these, what structures do you see? Okay, because a big part of numbers is structures and patterns. So just take a look at these and tell me what you notice about the structures. Okay, the next thing I want you to do, and I want you to pause me while you do this because I'm just going to keep forging ahead, but I want you to read each of these words, and there's a number next to it too. So if you're like, I'm not quite sure what this word says, you can see that there's a number to help support your thinking there. Okay, now like I said, because we want to be able to write and spell words, numbers, it's really important that you know how to spell these numbers. So if there's numbers here, this is you could have ask someone in your family, maybe today or tomorrow, to test you on these words. And if there's words that you don't yet know how to spell, this is a great way for you to kind of practice and have some spelling tests for you at home, okay? So if you look, right, with these, you see 11, 12. Once you get to 13, you can notice some of those patterns, teen, right? Once you get to 20, okay, these are those decade numbers. 10 doesn't really follow the pattern, but the other ones do, right? The all in T. So you have basically 13 to 19 following the teen, and then 20 decade to 90 go in that T, okay? And then over here you have the 100. So what you're going to do is you're going to use these to help you with writing and spelling the words and numbers on your math workbook. Okay, so we're going to do a few of those together because one of the most important things, and and sometimes what people can forget is if you have this number, let's do it here. Okay, if you have this number 506, okay, so we have the number 506. Okay, and I'm going to ask you to write it for me. So you're going to have the spelling on your math workbook page, okay, the one that we went over. So that's all going to be here for you as a resource. Okay, but you also have to know how to put these numbers together. So you're going to look over here at your 500. So you can use this as a tool. So you can say 500. And sometimes when we're reading this number, sometimes people will say 506, but it's actually just 506. So there is no and. So it's just 506, right? That is just the number. If I give you this number 530, it's the same thing. I can look at my 500 to help me with this word. Okay, especially if I haven't had time to kind of practice and test myself with it. 530. And I can find my 30 here. 30. Okay, spelling counts on these. If you're working on the homework and remembering pages, you only have a couple of opportunities to write and spell those words. So one, I would highly recommend that you write a bunch of numbers down and then help practice writing those words just so you can ensure that you know how to write these words correctly, because this page at least has a few more opportunities and examples. But just like what I'm doing right now, you can make up any numbers that you want, okay? How about this one? 547. Okay, same thing. I can use this as my tool. 540. Again, I can use my 47. Now, what do you notice that I did right here? Okay, hopefully you notice that I put a hyphen. Okay, when you have numbers that are connected like 56, 67, 24, okay, you put a hyphen in between those last words. And again, I did not add an and in between any of those. I did not say 547. It's just 547. Okay, same thing right here. Let's just say we had the number 72. Okay, I'm going to use this 70. Okay, so that is what Mavs I want you to do. You're going to read and write the words on your math workbook. Again, use this list. You can print out this slide. You can have someone test you from this slide, and then just write down any words that you don't yet know, and then use this to make different numbers that you can write out and spell. So Mavericks, you guys are working so hard, and I am so incredibly, I want you to see me when I'm saying this. I am so incredibly proud of you and proud of your perseverance. I know this has been kind of this crazy time, but just know that you are in our hearts every single day, and we miss you a ton, and we're just really proud of you. You guys are all doing absolutely amazing, and we miss you. So keep up that great work, and we will see you next time.